let me do a little bit more of this board meeting before I get involved with anything else. But let's talk about. I guess these you can't see these on the YouTube anymore. You can't read it, but here's Sammy, the fake general manager whose only ability is to smile. Here's his latest at the wheel. Safety is at the core of everything we do here at TriMet. Ever since the Sandy Day incident, every single communication has safety in it. And you have to be a TriMet watcher for a long time to know that. Everything they put out has safety, safety, safety. I want to take a moment to highlight a team that is instrumental in keeping riders, employees, and our entire system safe. Our fantastic customer safety supervisors. Now, this was defined for me by one of the Twitter people. We have a small group, it's 6, 8 maybe. I'm not sure how many, but I know there's at least 6 of us that actually care about this over on Twitter. Somebody told me that this was a rebranding of the fare inspectors. Well, he was right, and here Sam tells you that. Our customer safety supervisors bring an unarmed, positive presence to our system. And how do you come to that conclusion, Sammy? They make sure passengers have paid their fare. And you know, how the fuck should you be collecting anything from citizens right now, you hack? Your system does not exist. Your TriMet system tortures people. It's actually a torture system now. It's not even worth a nickel to ride. But they have, unfortunately for the transit-dependent riders, this is what happens when you depend on government, and this should be the lesson to everybody about the evils of government, okay, and why we need, well, we'll never get rid of it. We're stuck with it forever now. Not enough people understand this. But this should be a lesson to all of us in terms of why you should never, ever rely on the government for anything. Because they don't even have a transit system here, but they're going to still make you pay. And they're still going to fine you if you don't. Because they have no right to collect fares right now. But they're out there collecting fares. I mean, you have a rogue government, just like the Supreme Court with all their crazy decisions. Fuck the court. Who cares what they think? Okay, I don't care. I don't care what they rule. I mean, if I was living in Alabama, I'd just figure out some way to do what I need to do secretly. You know, what they're doing with all of these rules is they're driving everything underground again. We're going back to when everything had to be secret. And that's what's happening. They're driving and a lot more people will be dead. But we're talking about this, okay? They make sure passengers are paid their fare and are behaving appropriately. Working with PPI, that's that police place. They de-escalate tense situations. They do where? Who are angry, afraid, or disturbed, moving them away from crowds and directing them to whatever resources. They don't direct anybody to anything. He gives you a couple examples where they did. I'm sure there's examples that they did actually direct a few people, but I listen to this shit on the radio. I listen to the operation, okay? I know what's going on. You're directed into the goddamn ditch is where you go. Into that ditch, shut up, get your ditch. And that's it. There's no resources. There's no resources. Even that's a lie. We deploy customer safety supervisors where they're most needed. Basis on reports from operators, field operations, and others. Sure you do. These folks are not just writing tickets. Often they're getting community members much needed help. Okay, here's his example. They've helped reunite a runaway child. Yeah, they've done some things. I'm not going to say that it's all lies because they have done a few things that are nice. I just watched a video of them rescuing a bird. Okay, I'll show it to you as a matter of fact. Let's see. Here it is. It should be right up here pretty quick. Let me see. Where the hell is it? Come on. Here it is, here. Credit to Eli Ritchie in case you watched this. She won't. This is Eli's video. So I don't know. That's an operator. I don't know if this guy is. Maybe he's a supervisor. Maybe he's blue.
Oh, you got plenty of room. Give it to her mommy right there.
He's a lead operator. You know. So you put the bird back in the net. See him? Now that's what I call a TRIMET save them all moment right there. Good for him and good for TRIMET, because there are acts of kindness. You know, when I'm listening to the radio, you hear more kill them all than kindness, but I know that there are good people in there, absolutely. Our customer service reps come from all walks of life. Many of them have worked at TRIMET in other capacities, from transportation to customer service. The skill they all seem to have in common is the ability to remain calm and peaceful, resolution in difficult situations. Much like other transportation, we face a range of challenges on our system. Yes, all of public transportation around the entire country has been destroyed by the New World Order. All of the things that we used to have, took for granted, have been destroyed by the New World Order as they herd us into this new digitized world where it's now mandatory you get a vaccine, it's mandatory you have a baby. We're losing it, man. I'm just glad I'm old and could be dead at any moment. So my time is up here on this earth. I don't have to live. Imagine being in your 20s and 30s and living in this society now. I can't even. Anyway, forget about that. Let's listen to the next part of this.
And open the business meeting. So let's start with board reports. And today we begin with Director Kim and a report from the Accountability Committee.
The Accountability Committee! I'm sorry, I get excited. Who's Gregory Skillman? Who the hell's he?
Director Kim.
Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Kim. Did you know we have a Mr. Kim Max operator?
Did you say accountability first?
Accountability. First. You on?
Accountability.
You're on for 2 today, so accountability.
Yeah. Sounds good. Let me pull this up.
Oh.
So we met on June 8th for the first of the 2 meetings that are set in this year, 2022. And we reviewed the accountability website statistics.
The accountability web.
And our committee member Dave Whipple explained that while with the newly designed TRIMET.org, we were seeing fewer visits to the accountability.
Yeah, I pointed this out. Yes, it's not so easy to find it anymore. They've hidden the accountabilities. It's not so easy to find it. I had to navigate to it.
Center through the radio button at the top of the TRIMET.org homepage. People are still using the search function to find what they're looking for, because visits to various pages within the Accountability Center remains steady in a year-over-year comparison. So again, because of our homepage refresh, folks are, it might not be as robust that folks are using the search function.
Yeah, you hid the goddamn thing, okay? Just say it like it is. We hid it so people can't see it. Just like we tweet our board meeting on our account with 100 followers instead of our account with 70,000 followers. We do these things on purpose because we really don't want people to know what's going on. We don't care about those 6 guys over on Twitter. They're nobodies. They can look at us and watch us and call us out all day long. They got no following. We don't care about them. But for the general public, we don't want them to see anything. And that's how we operate.
But they are getting to where they want to be, because we know that because year-over-year numbers are steady. The top areas of interest in the Accountability Center, based on the number of visits, included our financial information, board meeting information, and public records information. And
I haven't done a public records for a while. I should go do one.
Accountability Committee member Darlene Graham reviewed at a high level of our Ethics Point hotline complaints over the past year as well. As a reminder, this hotline is administered by a third party and allows employees to make anonymous reports about fraud, waste, or abuse of our agency resources.
I want to report Sam to sue for fraud, waste, and lying. I'm going to call that number.
And this type of resource is classified as Tier 1, while other types of reports are classified as Tier 2. And there are 11 total reports in the preceding 12 months, and three of them being the Tier 1, alleging fraud, waste, and abuse. The remainder were either requests for safety assessment or employment-related complaints, and these Tier 2 reports were routed to the appropriate division for investigation and follow-ups as well. We also reviewed a number of older documents and materials on the accountability pages that get uploaded regularly, like our annual approved budgets or monthly check registers. Some of this material dates as far as back as 2013 or 14, when TRIMET first set up the Accountability Center. After confirming with the Public Records Department that they received very, very few requests of this dated material, the committee determined that most items more than 5 years old can and should be removed from the page.
Why? Why should you remove it? Why? You have unlimited data storage. Just leave it there. Why would you remove it? Just leave it right where it is. Here, another example.
So that users can find recent and relevant material more easily. To be sure, this older material dating, back let's say to 2013, can still be accessed by public request functionality. So, but it just allows for users to find, recent and relevant materials.
Yeah. You can make it, categorize it by year. It doesn't complicate it.
Accountability Committee meeting will be in December, first week of December. And that concludes my report.
Yeah, it's funny.
Thank you, Director Kim. I can tell you I'm one of the individuals that regularly looks at the accountability website and draws
Yes, Sammy, you smile away.
It's actually valuable, very, very valuable. Do any other board members want to make any comments? Director Bauman?
Thank you, Director Kim. I want to be sure that I heard correctly in the Ethics Point reports. There were in the past 12 months 3 reports of fraud, waste, and abuse.
3?
If I have that
That's
right.
correct.
Did you have any indication of how those were resolved? Or
Yes.
can you give any information?
Tell us some information.
Yeah. So they're all resolved to satisfaction, and so no outstanding red flags. So to be sure, there are a total of 11 reports in the past 12 months, preceding 12 months. But
Who the hell's this guy?
Tier 1 reports are what we're looking for, because Tier 2 are just get routed for the proper channel.
That guy's
so of the 3 Tier 1 reports, Darlene had looked into all of them and investigated and made determination, and none of them are outstanding.
Okay.
TRIMET never has any fraud or waste or abuse, right? You investigate it, they're fine. They do a great job. Everything is great. Just listen to Sammy.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's important. I appreciate that.
Absolutely. Yeah. Fraud is one thing, but waste or abuse of our resources.
Well, there's plenty of waste. We know that. It's tremendous. But it's all legal. It's all, in accordance with, the policies are to waste. It's set up. It's a money laundering system.
Yeah, we certainly don't want that. So appreciate that. And we've, on a side note, we've also looked in, just briefly discussed the mechanics of, the platform that we utilize for hotline complaints. Ethics Point is rather, very simple. It gets the job done. But I think we'll likely stick with the Ethics Point hotline. All of the staff, including Darlene, are looking into other platforms as well. This should come before our board for consideration for contract renewal for the Ethics Point with Navix by Navix. But That's for another day, but just a heads up that that's a platform that we use. And now that we're all primed to know that, the hotline complaints gets routed through the platform called NAG's Ethics Point. And so it's pretty user friendly and also easy to review on staff end as well.
What's Gregory doing here?
Thank you, Director Kim.
Maybe he should turn off his camera because he's not part of the meeting and we're watching him work.
So today, Director Edwards is absent. So TRIMET's Director of Accessibility and Transportation Programs, Margot Moore, will provide the update from the latest meeting on the Committee on Accessible Transportation.
The director
is Margot.
$200,000 a year for Margot.
I see Margot. Good morning, Margot.
She's working at home. She got a 5% raise plus her COLA, and she makes nice money, and she's got a nice office. She works from home.
Good morning. Good morning, President Simmons and members of the board.
President Simmons.
I am Margot Moore, and I am the Director of Accessible Transportation Programs, which is our paratransit program known as LIFT. I will be sharing the CAT business meeting minutes with you today on behalf of Director Edwards, who is not with us today. CAT met on July 15th. Chair Jan Campbell called the business meeting to order at 9:01. Announcements for the chair. Jan Campbell announced that Zoe Presson and Arnold Panich will be leaving CAT and thanked them for their participation and advocacy during this time with CAT. We also discussed the annual CAT luncheon, which will be held on July 29th at the Chart House Restaurant from 12 to 2. We advise members that may need transportation that they can meet at the Transit Mobility Center on 5th and Davis for a lift shuttle to the restaurant. CAT Executive Committee nominations took place at this meeting. Claudia Robertson was nominated and re-elected to the vice chair position. Anna Diana Johnson and Patricia Kepler were nominated and elected into the member-at-large.
Who cares? Who cares? Nobody knows who they are. Who
Lift
cares?
contractor report. Eileen Collins reported that procedures are being revised in regards to informing customers about alternate formats that are available for Lyft customers in response to a letter received from a vision-impaired customer. Lyft customers may request an alternate format from Lyft customer service, Lyft eligibility, or make an update in our online web portal for Lyft. Eileen also mentioned Lyft is reviewing options regarding fund latency for recertifying customers when a new Lyft Hop card is issued for those that utilize fixed route as well as Lyft. Charlie Clark stated the Access Transit Fare Assistance Program will be starting up their website next week and is hoping to have applications for the program available in July. Jonathan Lewis from TransDev thanked everyone for their patience as TransDev starts their transition in July into the Lyft Contract Center Management role, which encompasses our reservations, customer service, dispatch, and schedulers. CAT comment. Director Edwards commented that TriMet should identify a solution that does not leave riders without a viable hop card when their eligibility expires, while the new hop card is in the mail. Dave Daly thanked the Lyft team for the efforts undertaken for the Lyft fare assistance and shared concerns about ensuring the right community partners are engaged throughout the service district to get needed fare assistance into the hands of people who need it the most. Public comment was made by Catherine Woods, who voiced concerns that Lyft riders that are unable to utilize computers will have increased difficulty. Eileen assured her that Lyft will continue to have people available via phone.
Yes.
The board report, Director Edwards reported that he met with General Manager and President of the board regarding the use of positioning of bus wraps and tint, which obscure visibility and hinder wayfinding on buses and trains, particularly for those that are vision impaired. Follow-up will occur with more information at a later time.
Oh, boy.
We also were given a presentation by Fiona Lyon and Guy Ben of TriMet. This was in reference to the Regional Transit-Oriented Development, known as TOD. Guy presented an overview of the Regional TOD guidelines and the aim of building on the approved guidelines to increase transparency and accessibility to the TriMet properties. The current plan identifies high-priority sites for development and improvement through quantitative and qualitative criteria.
Quantitative and qualitative criteria. Jesus.
CAT comments. Claudia shared her concerns that CAT often gets engaged after decisions are made about design and accessibility needs.
Yes, that's correct. All these guys here own your transit system, okay? The executive class are the literal owners of TriMet. They make all the decisions. They just manufacture consent later.
To be discussed and reviewed with CAT at the initial outset.
That's a good idea. Yeah, see? Yeah, there you go. Another example of how it's all backwards. The public is not part of their process. It never has been.
Public comments, Catherine Wood, again stated concerns regarding path of travel accessibility and reasonable walking traveling distances to TriMet properties. She stated that it seemed like CAT was receiving information in hindsight. There were no other further business, and CAT Chair Campbell adjourned the meeting at 11 o'clock. And that concludes my report. Any questions?
Thank you, Director Moore. Does anyone have a question?
She's not a director. Oh, yeah, she's a...
I'm not seeing one. That was an excellent report.
Thank you. It was lovely. Thank you so much.
Now we're moving on to Vice President Irish Bauman, who will give an update on the Finance and Audit Committee.
It says right there, it says Lori Bauman. It doesn't say Irish Bauman. Why does she keep using Irish Bauman?
Bauman?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, everyone.
And why isn't Lori Bauman the chairman of the board since she was the vice chair last time? Because they wanted this hack instead. And this hack is as bad as Warner almost.
The Finance and Audit Committee met this morning before the board meeting, and there were two items on the agenda. The first is some changes to fair policy. These, I will preface my remarks by saying that these changes are going to be coming before the board at the July meeting. So you're going to be hearing more about this, board members. The first proposal or the first policy change that we heard about was proposals to eliminate the Honored Citizen Downtown Pass.
Oh, wow! I got to tell Jason about that. See what they're doing? See what they're doing? This is what's called austerity, people. This is what McFarland did back in 2008, when he got rid of Fairless Square and he raised the fares and he cut our benefits. They're doing it again, folks. This is a repeat of what happened in 2008, 2009.
That is a pass that is available only to individuals who.
And why would you do that? Why would you do that? Because you're fucking pieces of shit.
As honored citizens who live in the downtown area for use in the downtown area. And this was created in 2012 when the downtown free fare zone was eliminated. It's a study of the relatively small number of users of this program shows that it's the very few of the folks who have these passes are either minority or low income. And so the determination that's been made is that the program isn't benefiting the population for whom it's intended, which was to be minority and low income populations. So this.
What do you mean, minority? It's for downtown seniors, you fucking hack!
Pass is being proposed for elimination in the near future. And again, board members, you'll hear more about this next month. There was also a presentation at the Finance and Audit Committee about discontinuing Lyft paper monthly and 20 ride punch cards. Paper Lyft single ride tickets would be retained. Part of the reason for this discontinuation is that Lyft has transitioned to hop cards, and the hop system is really more beneficial to Lyft users because they can earn their monthly passes as they ride instead of paying in advance for a monthly pass or
yeah, and they can track you. All part of the New World Order.
Ride card. This program will be phased out by the end of the year, and again, the board will be hearing more about this next month.
So they're what? They're going to force everybody onto the hop card. What a fucking shithole.
Second item on the agenda was a service reduction update. This will be part of the general manager report to the board this morning. So I'm going to touch on it just very briefly. We heard from, Tom Mills about some temporary service reductions that are being.
You're lying. They're permanent forever. You've been saying temporary for 2.5 years. Stop lying to the public. Stop lying to us. Stop lying.
Anticipated that are associated with the ongoing operator shortage. Even though the numbers of applicants for bus operators are increasing,
that's a lie. They had 1,000 applications, but they only made a job offer for 300. They're lying about that too.
Expected that the ranks of bus operators won't be fully filled out for some time, and
intentionally, and you're hiring fucking fare inspectors instead of operators.
For that reason, some service reductions are required in the fall too.
Your transit agency has failed, and only transit-dependent people they're stuck with you. They're captors. You've captured your prisoners, and now you torture them every day.
Kind of align the service with the operators who are available. And I will stop there, and
good, shut up.
Happy to answer any questions.
You're mute. Yeah, good, you're muted. Everybody's muted.
I'm muted. Yeah, Director Way.
Thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I couldn't find the hand thing for a while. Director Bauman, thank you for that report. I do have some questions. I could also save them when we have our deeper education sessions around the pass that some folks are currently using right now for downtown. Do you know if other factors, it sounds like we're still going to have a discussion, but is one of the factors cost related, or is it just purely, user level? Like there just isn't enough folks who are taking advantage of this discount, I guess. And I'm still not quite sure if it's a discounted rate that the proposal is we're doing away with, or if, again, that particular population, instead of, getting this, will be now getting another type of subsidized fare from us.
Right. The folks who now qualify for this downtown pass would qualify for the honored citizen fare, so the half price.
Yeah, but that's not.
That's ultimately. However, the current cost of this pass is only $10 for 2 years, so it's virtually free.
Yeah, you see, and you can't have free when you have austerity. You have to squeeze the surf. You squeeze the surf for everything you can.
And so you're right that individuals, unless they can receive other discounts, for example, unless they can get a free ticket from a social service agency, for example, they will be paying the honored citizen fare. So, the end would be more fair revenue to TriMet, but the sense is that this program, again, is not, the vast majority of users of this program are not low income, and they're not.
So what?
And so
they're senior citizens.
Kind of a Title VI type benefit. And I will maybe stop there because you'll be hearing more about this next month.
It's fucking austerity right in front of your face. They ruined your service for austerity. They did it on purpose, and now they're even taking away that.
Don't want to kind of step beyond the bounds of what I know.
Okay, thank you.
What do you mean? You're supposed to know everything. You're a board member.
Okay. Thank you very much, both for your question, Director Way, and your response, Director Bauman. So next, this morning, we're going to go back to Director Kim and have an update on the Metro Policy Advisory Committee. Director Kim?
Yes. Thank you, everyone. Report on our last May MPAC meeting for MPAC. At the May meeting, there were two briefings. First was an update on Metro's community placemaking grant program. These grants are focused on, supporting community-led arts and cultural efforts.
See, they're eliminating your past, but they've got grants for arts, okay? Wake up, people. Will we ever wake up? No, this country is brain dead.
To strengthen community resilience and ranges from $5,000 to $25,000. And Metro will begin.
Yeah, just give it away. Give it away. We got money everywhere. It's just not for you fucking serfs.
If you know anyone, we can amplify that opportunity there. Next, we heard another in a series of presentations on the factors of homelessness and Metro's supported housing service.
Yeah, the factors of homelessness. I can tell you there's no home for them. Okay, that's the factors of homelessness. Rents are ridiculous. They certainly can't buy anything. So they're homelessness. Get it? Wow. I figured it out. I'm not even a high-paid consultant.
Versus measure to provide MPAC members with background on progress and background from shelter providers.
Yeah, they got the residents were stupid, People are so dumb. They actually vote to increase their taxes, and the taxes just get swallowed up by the state and redistributed to the ruling class. And people vote yes. I've never been able to believe that people actually vote yes to raise their own tax. I don't care what it's for. It doesn't matter. You should never vote yes to raise your taxes. You're handing your money over to the government who already steals more than they ever should have.
Updates were provided by Transition Projects, Central Cultural, and the City of Portland on addressing barriers to shelter siting and preparing to increase shelter space for next winter. So the City of Portland discussed the progress on their Safe Rest Villages program to create managed outdoor campsites, prevent unsanctioned camping. And
prevent camping! Throw them in the ditch! Move their ditch to somewhere else! Kill them all! Send them to the camps. I'm sure that's coming. I'm sure what's coming for those people is the camps.
To really transition people into more permanent housing. And Central Cultural also discussed their shelter siting project and some of the guidelines they're using for siting shelters in Washington County. This transition project discussed some of the tactics for temporary and permanent shelter siting. MPAC members will continue to receive regular updates on these factors of homelessness and have the opportunity.
Yeah, we're going to study it. We're going to study it forever. We're going to hire a bunch of consultants to study homelessness when we know all we need to do is get them a place to live. That's all we need to do to end homelessness, but they won't do it.
We need to consider and provide feedback on strategies for addressing homelessness in the region. If anyone has any questions or comments, route them to me. Happy to provide you further information. Thank you.
Yeah, great.
Any questions for Director Kim? Thank you. Thanks. Now, we're going to move on. Director Lewis is absent today, so TRIMET's Director of Equity, Inclusion, and Community Affairs.
Where's all the board members? There's only 3 of them here? 1, 2, 3. Can they even have 1, 2? Oh, they have 4, yeah. Okay, they got to have a majority.
Gardner joins us with a report.
Oh, here he is, our favorite hack, John Gardner.
Public Safety. Good morning, John.
Good morning, President Simmons and members of the board. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
All right, well, thank you again for letting me provide the June Reimagine program update this morning. The meeting started with Reimagine Senior Program Coordinator Marissa Clark, welcoming the committee members and staff to Tuesday's meeting. And despite the beautiful weather and summer solstice, we actually had good attendance for the late afternoon meeting. TRIMET's Director of Security and Emergency Management, Pat Williams, provided the monthly security update and shared a few stories of good news as well as systems challenges that occurred over the last month on the system. Next, staff shared an update on the results of the committee's training RFP scoring process. And committee members Anna Deanna Johnson and Adam Jenkins shared their feedback on the process and their initial feelings on the quality of the training proposals that they and the rest of the work group reviewed and scored recently. In general, only 3 trainings were recommended to go forward at this time. The committee is still working through 7 additional training proposals that will probably require additional background and details from the proposers. TRIMET staff will also be restarting direct conversations with community-based organizations.
There's the old community-based organizations. Here we go again with the community-based organizations stick.
In the areas of training for those frontline training for to support individuals experiencing mental health crisis on the system, as well as frontline training.
See, here we go. They're just talking. They've been talking and training. They don't actually do anything.
For staff supporting houseless riders on the system. Next, the committee walked through a new outline for the TRIMET Quarterly Safety and Security Report. We discussed a list of potential security elements that can make up the basis of this quarterly report going forward. Over the next few weeks, Reimagine committee members will be taking those elements back to their home agencies to work with their colleagues and coworkers to get feedback and submit their ideas.
They're going to get feedback. It's going to go on forever. The Poverty Pimp Industrial Complex.
We can have a draft report for the Reimagine meeting.
They're going to have a draft report, Rippy.
Have a final report by the September meeting. Overall, it was a really good meeting.
Yeah, it was great. You just sat around and talked.
And I can take any questions if you have any.
Thank you, Director Gardner. Any questions for Director Gardner? Great report. Thank you, John.
Great report of nothing.
Now, let's see. Our final report today is Director Way, who will give us an update on the Transit Equity Advisory Committee. Director Way.
Thank you, President Simmons. Hello, board members. I'm also just going to be reading from my notes. So we had actually a very exciting TIAC meeting in June, on June 14th. We had our first ever retreat. I don't believe we really actually had a retreat before. That was sort of set as an intentional space to really look at TIAC's mission and vision, values, and also really do some relationship building with one another. TIAC is a committee that is primarily based of community representatives, community organizations, leaders. So we kind of have a whole gamut of different people who serve on TIAC, but the common theme that we all have is, again, just sort of a passion around having public transit that is equitable for all of our communities. So this is just part 1 of this retreat. We are going to have a part 2 conversation in July. And so we had a wonderful facilitator by the name of Jessica Stanton, who is just a consultant, just really great.
Knowledgeable
person.
They do consulting. They're consulting.
Our conversation. So we really kick things off with some introductions, introducing ourselves.
Ozzy, don't tweet.
Explaining gender pronouns and why that's important. And everyone went around and, basically shared just what really brought them to this committee, the work that they do in their respective organizations, and how are their goals aligned with TIAC's
Is he
work.
frozen or?
And then we also had another breakout question that was focused on just their connection to public transit and transportation, and why personally for them that is important. So it was just a really great way again to just sort of in a virtual way see who is participating in TIAC, see where different interests are. And then after that, John Gardner, who you just heard from, provided some agency updates and announcements. We also just spent a hefty amount of time going through a report that Amparo and Martine, 2 of our TRIMET equity staffers did back in the spring of last year. And those were some of the questions that were really just focused around, what are issues, topics that they felt that folks feel like could be improved or could be revisited in TIAC.
Ozzy doesn't pay attention to any of these meetings. He's just there. I don't blame him. I wouldn't pay attention to it either if I was in his shoes.
It was a several pages long report, but we sort of dove into looking at the feedback that was collected from some of those surveys. And then what we try to do within small breakout rooms is really kind of prioritize on a high, medium, and low level
What the hell is she talking
some of the issues and some of the topics that came out. So, some of the themes were around TF members wanting to be more active in crafting the agenda, for example. Other topics included, in addition to TIAC that meets monthly and regularly.
The Transit Equity Advisory Board. Crap! A whole new level of bureaucracy just created for bureaucrats.
There will be other subcommittees around other issues.
They're going to have subcommittees at the committees, and then those subcommittees will have subcommittees, and it will go on forever.
Topics that if people are interested, they can sign on to, help lead. So again, just very, very interesting, enlightening conversations.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But I would say was just most excited at people really being highly engaged and really feeling like, okay, we after a couple of years and obviously going through the pandemic, just really needing this space to connect with one another around again equity and transit. So this kind of brings me to the last bit, which is sort of a precursor for next month. So next month, we are really going to be taking a look at our charter. We have a TIAC charter that I believe has been in place. John, please correct me if you're still here. I think 2017 or so was when that charter was created. So we wanted to take a look at that document again and see if we wanted to make any edits or revisions to it. And then this is also really exciting, but excuse me, this is something that staff has brought up, which is possible stipends for committee members.
Yeah, give them money, give them stipends. I mean, you don't have a transit agency, but you got all this money to give everybody. It's just so absurd. So it's just absurd. It's just so painful to have to watch this.
That has also perhaps come up in other committees as well as, do we want to provide some stipends again?
Yeah, why not? I say $5,000 per meeting each. Why not? Just give $10,000 a meeting.
Volunteers who, take time out of their day to serve on various TRIMET committees. And then we are also going to be talking about just a TIAC membership, right? What does that entail? I believe that John wants to, this is a fabulous idea, he wants to do more TRIMET one-on-one orientations in the fall. So, we have TIAC members who have been on TIAC for 3, 4, 5 years to some folks who this is like literally their second meeting. So we want to make sure that we try to get everyone on the same page. And then just to lastly, but not least, wrap up this, I really want to thank 3 of our TIAC members who have stepped forward to really help craft our agenda for this retreat. That's Lee Helfand, Tristan Isaac, and Ray Atkinson.
Tristan Isaac, he's still around? He left Twitter. I like his Twitter feed. He's done some good work, so if he's involved, there must be something to it.
So I don't know if they're here listening, but they put in even some more additional hours with myself and our equity department.
We have equity. We don't have a transit system, but we have an equity. We have equity in our no transit system
agenda. So that's all I have.
Boy,
and
it's just gone on forever.
Yeah, just excited for some of this work to develop further.
Jesus, 43 minutes.
You can take any questions or comments.
Thank you, Director Way. I'm not seeing any hands raised, so we will just move on to the general managers.
All right, stop. I can't take any more of this.